All right, thank you, Tom. We are at the Patriots Hall of Fame presented by Raytheon and Kyle. It felt like last week watching the show. You were here with Tom. I didn't have the pleasure of sitting next to you, but I did hear you reminiscing, and not in a good way, thinking back to that Super Bowl from a couple of years ago against the Eagles. And you said then, it still hurts. So does what happened on Sunday make you feel like you got a little vengeance?
A little bit. We had some fun, that's for sure, at the Lynx or the Link or whatever they call their stadium. We had a good time winning. I had some fun out there, made some plays, and got the dub.
Yeah, now listen, I'm sitting here and I feel like I'm a good listener, but I don't think you even have to be a good listener to hear you drop the word fun on more than one occasion right there. And I couldn't help but notice your head coach.
Oh, he did?
Who doesn't often talk about fun, at least with us, maybe he does with you guys, dropped it at the podium last night during his opening statement after the win.
What'd he say?
Did you want to make sure? Well, I think he said something to the effect of it looked like the guys had a lot of fun out there, played with a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Why do you like that he went out of his way maybe to say something like that against that team in particular?
Well, I don't think it's anything in particular. I think we honestly had a blast. Anytime you go into an environment like that versus a team that's playing as well as they are, it's always good to get a win. And when you make plays and see people have success, and it's fun. And when you leave a place like that, after, copping an L at a Super Bowl, that's probably the best thing you could do is walk away with a win, and we did that.
Now, of course, Lane Johnson, before that Super Bowl a couple years ago, made some comments making it feel like he knew that the Patriots didn't have a whole lot of fun. He had to leave the game injured, which we don't wish upon anybody on Sunday. But obviously not a whole lot of fun for the Eagles offense. They only scored 10 points. And I did want to ask you about the long drive that they had from the end of the first quarter, actually bled into the second quarter there. 95 yards, over 9.5 minutes there. Yeah. But after that, for you guys as a defense, you force a punt, a fumble, and then 6 consecutive punts. What changed?
Yeah, I think anytime at the beginning of the game, teams start on a script, which is where they have pre-planned plays that they've practiced all in a row all week. Some teams can do 15, 20, however long, and then get into the game plan of what we're trying to do and all that. But they have 15 plays that they practice to go in a row. And, those were working. And once we ended the script, I felt like we settled down in the game plan. They settled in their game plan. And we kind of were ready for anything and everything. And we shut the run down. They got it going a little bit in that drive, and we were able to finally knock that down and get ahead in the down and distances and do a really good job of making it tough on them.
So I love you taking us inside the game, explaining what that script is.
Yeah.
And it feels like Philadelphia, Kansas City, some of those Andy Reid, West
Our
Coast
offense.
teams, you guys
Yeah.
are, and like you said, every team has some sort of script, but it feels like a team like the Eagles, they get really creative, and they got really creative early. We saw center Jason Kelce lined up wide like a receiver in a bunch formation at one point. So is it almost like in those situations you have to be prepared for things that you didn't even see on film maybe during that bye week as you prepared for the game?
Yeah, I think you have to always be prepared. I think our coaching staff, Bill, does a really good job of dispersing all the duties to the other coaches and players to really hone in on little things like that, be aware of this situation and this. And I think all the players take pride in being able to stop those formations and being aware defensively. And we did a really, really good job of continuously throughout the game being aware. There's a couple plays where we could have done better, and we'll correct those things versus the Cowboys and get after them Cowboys.
You mentioned that it was good for you guys to be able to settle in against the run. You slowed that down. This had been a very good running football team. The Eagles had been against two really good defenses in the games leading up to yours, and you guys held them to 3.9 yards per carry. The front had a great game. 5 sacks for you guys.
Yeah, LG played really good. Danny Shelton played really good. Those guys are playing good football.
Now, you mentioned a couple names there that people in New England know. We obviously know you. Dante Hightower, guest on Monday Night Patriots with us. Longtime Patriot. Devin McCourty, Patrick Chung. A lot of names to me.
What are you trying to say?
I'm a Twitter follower of yours.
Oh, appreciate it.
So I'm
need
doing
some more.
reading.
So I think
okay. So go and
I
follow
don't even know
Kyle.
what my handle is. I think it's like at KVN.
I think you could probably search Kyle Van Noy Twitter.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Let's pull it up right now.
Yeah.
But you did tweet something interesting where it sounded like someone named Tony.
At KVN_03. Check me out.
There you go. Go find it right now. Click that follow button. But someone named Tony may have referred to you all as sort of a no-name defense or a defense made up of no-name players. What was your reaction to that?
Well, I mean, obviously you get tagged and stuff after the game by a million people, and then, you have conversation with family members after games, and mom wasn't too happy about it. But for me, honestly, I don't want to make it seem like anything and everything someone says I'm worried about. You know what I mean? It's more like fun, just trying to mess with people, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people think. I'm comfortable in my shoes. My teammates are comfortable in theirs. We trust each other. We all know what each player individually brings to this team, and we're just trying to play good football. And I think that's what matters. I think we mess with people, and we have a good time in that regards. But really, what really matters is the heart that we got, and we're just going to keep that going.
That sentiment, though, where it feels like maybe there are some players who might not get the national recognition that they deserve. That's not even new.
So why do you think? What would be your assessment on why you don't think?
I'll let you know that Ted Johnson, who is a Patriots captain, won 3 Super Bowls here, linebacker.
Yeah.
One thing that he told me last year, before last year's Super Bowl, we were talking about the job that Bill had done, and we were comparing his job in 2018 versus 2001 and 2003 and 2004. It's just a fun conversation the week leading up to the Super Bowl. And what Ted was saying was they used to call us a no-name defense, and I would look around our defensive room, and we had Willie McGinnis and Ty Law and Rodney Harrison. And I'm saying, Richard Seymour, how are we a no-name defense? But it happened, and I think even then there was some of the, their coach is a genius, and so he's going to get things figured out. Do you feel like you guys now in 2019 run into something similar where the coach is so good, obviously, in Bill Belichick? And you don't want to take any credit away from him.
No, never
but
that.
Do you feel like it's hard for the players to get some credit sometimes because of who they play for?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Might need to take back next week so I can think about that one on
we'll
answering
give you some time to stew on that?
Okay. So I can answer it correctly. I'm not talking out my butt or say the wrong thing.
But it is an interesting
it is
dynamic.
It is.
Because, obviously – the coach benefits from having good players.
Yeah, I mean, I think a year ago it goes back to offensively. I think people were saying that the skill position, there's no one there, whatever. And, you have Jules, who unreal in the playoffs, Gronk, Philip Dorsett, always reliable, James White. All the skilled players are really, really good. And, they were saying that it's just all Tom. You know what I mean? Which he's a big piece of it. It's not discrediting him, but those guys are really good players for themselves.
And it feels as though maybe this year the script has almost flipped in some ways because Tom Brady met with us, did his press conference last night, was clearly unhappy, and was, I'm sure, happy in some ways to have the win.
For sure, yeah.
But he obviously wants to score more than 17 points too. And so when you know that is happening on the other side of the ball, how does somebody on your side of the ball react? Does it put more on the defense? Do you feel like you have to do more to be where you guys want to be at the end of a game?
No, we have full faith and trust in 12 and Josh McDaniels and the rest of those rest of the bunch getting things squared away. We can control what we can control. That's how hard we play on defense. That's doing our job, getting the ball back to give back to them to get as many chances as they can to crack the code. We know that they get everyone's best, and we get everyone's best. That being said, like they'll figure it out. I'm not nervous one bit. I know it's taken a little bit longer in some areas, like it has for us, but we have full trust that they're gonna get what they want to get done.
And they obviously have some time to figure some things out.
Yeah.
Like you said,
He always got fire jackets too. Those Canada Goose jackets.
Is that what that is?
Whew, those are elite.
Gonna have to look into that.
I know.
I feel like the price range on those may be like in a little bit different area
I
than
know,
what I'm
but
used
if we keep
never
talking about them and mention them, maybe they'll give us some freebies.
Complimentary.
Yeah.
Canada Goose.
Yeah, there we go.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that the brand? Okay, there it is. Want to get you out of here with a couple of questions on the team you're about to face, because this is a really interesting offense. Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, they've had a very good offensive line for years now. The Cowboys have had. I know it's very early in the week, but I'm sure to some extent you've been following these guys. This is the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, quote unquote.
Don't you worry, I've already started.
You're already on the film.
I'm already
there
on
you go.
the film.
Well, what have you seen?
I see a lot of really good things from their offense, from distributing the ball to Gallup, really underrated, to obviously Amari Cooper. Randall Cobb's playing really good football. Zeke, obviously, that man's pretty damn good at football. And that O-line, I mean, they pay for what they're getting, that's for sure. Those guys are dogs up front. They all speak for themselves in their play, but and I think Kellen Moore, good friend of mine, is doing a really good job with Dak. Getting him on the move. I think Dak's really good outside the pocket. They're doing a good job with the play action and winning early downs, making third downs a little bit shorter. So we have a good test, and I'm excited. We got really good players, and I'm excited for a 425 game at home. That's for sure.
Can you tell us about
Y'all
your
better be
relationship
there.
with Kellen Moore, and is it the type of friendship where you could maybe text him for a few just helpful hints going into the game on Sunday?
I'll text him probably next week.
There you go. Might want to wait on that.
Yeah, definitely.
I did want to ask you, I think the narrative around the Cowboys for a while has been that it's sort of Zeke's team and Zeke's offense, and I'm curious what you think about Dak Prescott, because
it's his
feels
team.
like you do think so, because a lot of the numbers would suggest he's having one of the best seasons of any quarterback in the league.
I do think it's his team. I think, you look around the NFL, I think every team's the quarterback's team in their own way, and I know he probably has been overshadowed, and he has a chip on his shoulder, and I respect that. I respect him always competing each and every game, every year, proving people wrong and telling them to shut up. I love that, and I respect him for wanting to get that big contract. He deserves it, and I hope all the best for him. But on Sunday, that all that goes out the door, and we playing for keeps, and we got to have that win.
All right, well, Kyle Van Noy, we respect you. Tommy Curran,
I appreciate that.
Typically your partner here. We respect you as well.
We got a good fill-in guy today.
Thank you for letting me fill in. I always appreciate being part of Quick Slants. I used to be on the show a lot.
I know. You should come back
more. Part of the Quick Slants family.
That would have been good.
Maybe I will. Let's send it back to that guy who controls all those invites, Tommy Curran. We're going to throw it back to you right now.